You had one cup of coffee after lunch. Just one. And yet, when it's 10 p.m. and you're lying in bed, your mind is racing. You can't stop scrolling, your thoughts won't quiet down, and even when you finally drift off, you wake up groggy, as if you never slept at all. What if that single cup wasn't as harmless as you thought? Because that harmless coffee might still be inside your bloodstream, hijacking your sleep, long after you've forgotten you even drank it. We all know caffeine helps us stay awake. But what most people don't realize is how long caffeine actually stays active inside your body. You might think it's gone after a few hours, but your brain and liver tell a very different story. So here's the question. If your morning coffee wakes you up, what is your afternoon coffee really doing to you? Why does drinking caffeine after 2 p.m. quietly sabotage your sleep, without you ever realizing it? The truth has to do with how caffeine moves through your system, how it fools your brain, and how it disrupts one of the most important biological processes you have, deep sleep. In this video, we'll explore what caffeine really does once it enters your bloodstream, how it lingers, hides, and rewires your body's sleep rhythm, and why even a tiny timing mistake can ripple through your brain's nightly repair cycle. Let's start with what caffeine actually is. It's not just an energy booster, it's a chemical trickster. Your brain naturally produces a molecule called adenosine. Think of adenosine as your body's sleep pressure. It builds up in your brain throughout the day, signaling that it's time to rest. The more adenosine accumulates, the sleepier you feel. But caffeine blocks this signal. It fits perfectly into your adenosine receptors, like a fake key sliding into a lock. The brain mistakes caffeine for adenosine, but since it doesn't trigger sleepiness, your brain stays alert. Here's where it gets sneaky. Caffeine doesn't remove adenosine, it just covers up the signals. So when the caffeine wears off, all that built-up adenosine rushes back in, which is why you often crash or feel sudden fatigue hours later. And here's the kicker. Caffeine's half-life is much longer than most people think. The half-life is the time it takes for half of a substance to leave your body. For caffeine, that's about 5 to 7 hours for the average adult. So if you drink a coffee at 2 p.m. with roughly 200 milligrams of caffeine, you'll still have about 100 milligrams in your system at 9 p.m. That's the same as a small espresso shot, still running through your veins. It's not that your body forgets to sleep, it's that caffeine quietly keeps your brain's sleep switch jammed in the on position. When you finally close your eyes after that late coffee, your body thinks it's sleeping. You might even get a full 8 hours, but deep inside your brain, something crucial is missing. See, sleep isn't one uniform state. It's a sequence of carefully timed stages, from light sleep to deep, restorative sleep, and finally REM. Deep sleep is when your brain detoxifies itself, repairing connections, clearing out metabolic waste, and rebalancing neurotransmitters. But caffeine has other plans. Because it blocks adenosine, the molecule that triggers deep sleep, caffeine shortens and fragments your slow-wave sleep. You may still log the hours, but the quality of that sleep drops sharply. Researchers at the University of Zurich conducted an experiment where volunteers drank coffee 6 hours before bed. The results were stunning. Their total sleep time was reduced by more than an hour, and their deep sleep activity dropped by 20%. Even when the participants said they slept fine, brain scans showed something very different. Their sleep architecture was disrupted, leaving their brains less refreshed, less focused, and more irritable the next day. That means your afternoon latte could be the reason you wake up foggy, crave sugar in the morning, and feel the need for yet another cup of coffee to function. It's a cycle that quietly feeds itself. And here's where it gets even more surprising. Caffeine doesn't just mess with sleep, it messes with your brain's cleaning system. During deep sleep, your brain activates what's called the glymphatic system, a network that flushes out toxins and waste proteins like beta-amyloid, which are linked to Alzheimer's disease. Think of it like a night crew cleaning up your brain's city streets. But when caffeine delays or blocks deep sleep, that cleanup crew never gets to work. Over time, the waste builds up, not enough to make you sick right away, but enough to affect your focus, mood, and long-term brain health. So when you lie awake at 11 p.m., heart slightly racing, thoughts buzzing, it's not just in your head. It's literally in your chemistry. Caffeine is still active in your bloodstream, binding to receptors, keeping the brakes off your alertness system, while your brain begs for downtime. Now imagine this happening night after night. The more you rely on caffeine to stay awake, the less quality sleep you get. The less you sleep, the more you crave caffeine the next day. It's a biological tug-of-war, one you can't win unless you understand the timing game your body is trying to play. So what exactly happens to your mind and body when this pattern repeats? When caffeine and sleep deprivation start trading punches day after day? Let's look at the hidden consequences most people never connect to that simple afternoon coffee. Imagine this, it's Thursday afternoon. You've had 2 coffees already, maybe an energy drink before that big meeting. You feel productive, alert, like you've hacked your fatigue. But when your alarm goes off the next morning, you feel like your brain's been replaced with wet cement. That groggy, heavy feeling isn't just tiredness. It's a sign your sleep cycle was chemically sabotaged. See, when you miss deep sleep, even if you technically slept for 8 hours, your brain doesn't finish its nightly maintenance. That means more leftover adenosine, more inflammation, and fewer neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin being properly balanced. In other words, your brain wakes up unrepaired. And that shows up fast. You start craving carbs and sugar for quick energy, your mood dips, your focus scatters. Studies show that people who sleep poorly due to caffeine have 30 to 40% higher stress hormone levels in the morning. Your body literally believes it's under attack. Then, without thinking, you reach for another coffee to fix it, and that's how the cycle locks in. But the damage doesn't stop there. Caffeine also impacts your internal clock, the circadian rhythm, a delicate system of hormonal cues that tell your body when to wake, eat, and sleep. When caffeine keeps you alert late into the evening, your body delays the release of melatonin, the hormone that makes you sleepy. So even when you finally do lie down, your brain's not convinced it's bedtime. Melatonin arrives late, deep sleep gets delayed, and your overall rest becomes fragmented. Over time, this pushes your biological rhythm forward, like constantly resetting your watch, leaving you feeling jet-lagged even without travel. And that's the silent irony. The very thing we drink to feel awake eventually makes us more tired. A study from the Sleep Disorders Research Center found that people who consumed caffeine regularly after 2 p.m. reported up to 60% higher daytime fatigue by the end of the week compared to those who stopped earlier in the day. Their brain wasn't getting worse at staying awake, it was getting worse at resting. The ripple effects go beyond energy. Poor sleep quality impacts insulin sensitivity, leading to greater fat storage and sugar cravings. It suppresses growth hormone release, slowing recovery from workouts. And in the long term, it raises the risk of depression, metabolic syndrome, and memory decline. Yet, because caffeine's effects are subtle and delayed, most people never realize the connection. They just assume they're naturally bad sleepers. In reality, they're just sleeping under the influence of caffeine, a stimulant that overstayed its welcome. Here's the good news: you don't have to give up caffeine to fix your sleep, you just have to time it right. Think of caffeine like sunlight, powerful when used wisely, but harmful if you overexpose yourself too late in the day. Most experts recommend the 2 p.m. rule. That's the latest you should consume caffeine if you want your brain fully cleared before bedtime. Why 2 p.m.? Because of caffeine's 5 to 7 hour half-life. It can take 10 to 12 hours for your body to eliminate it completely. So that, just one coffee at 4 or 5 p.m.? Half of it is still running through your system by midnight. If you stop caffeine before 2 p.m., you give your body enough time to metabolize most of it, meaning your adenosine levels can naturally rise by nightfall, signaling your brain that it's time to rest. But timing is just the first step. Here are 3 science-backed strategies to keep your energy high without sabotaging your sleep. Shift your caffeine window earlier. Have your first coffee 60 to 90 minutes after waking up, not immediately. This allows your natural cortisol, your body's built-in alertness hormone, to peak first, making caffeine more effective and less likely to cause crashes. Alternate with hydration and light exposure. Fatigue is often mistaken for dehydration or lack of sunlight. Drinking water and stepping into natural light for 10 minutes resets your circadian rhythm and boosts energy naturally, no caffeine needed. Use low-dose caffeine strategically. Instead of one massive 300 mg hit, try microdosing with smaller amounts earlier in the day, like green tea or matcha. These deliver caffeine more slowly and come with calming compounds like L-theanine, which smooth out the crash and support focus without overstimulation. And if you must stay alert late in the day? Skip caffeine entirely and switch to non-stimulant energy cues, like breathing exercises, cold water on your face, or even peppermint aroma. These trigger alertness without disrupting your sleep chemistry. Finally, here's the part most people overlook: caffeine sensitivity isn't the same for everyone. Genetics play a role. Some people have a slow variant of the CYP1A2 gene, meaning their liver breaks down caffeine much slower, sometimes twice as slow as average. For them, even a single cup at noon could delay sleep by several hours. So if you've ever wondered why your friend can drink espresso after dinner and fall asleep instantly, while you're awake until 3 a.m., it's not just unfair, it's biochemical. Knowing your own metabolism helps you find your personal caffeine cutoff time. For most people, that's between noon and 2 p.m. And the difference this makes? It's dramatic. Within a week of moving caffeine earlier, studies show measurable improvements in deep sleep duration, reaction time, and morning energy levels, all without giving up the drink itself. So, caffeine isn't the enemy, but misusing its timing is.